we're continuing to have positive talks with BA. We are really efforting to get something done with him, and we're excited about continuing down that path. And Brandon being a part of this team, Deebo is a part of this team and a big part of this team. So, like I said, we feel great about that group, and we feel like we just made it better with another really good addition to it who complements the group real well.
Close the door on a trade?
Never close the door on a trade. I mean, we, we'll always listen, and we have, but we like our group as it stands.
Well, is it at least logical to think that it would have taken something in the first round for you guys to consider trading Brandon, and now that the first round is over, that's unlikely that you would move him?
Yeah, I thought it was unlikely going into it, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. So, I mean, you listen to everything. Everything's about trying to improve our team as much as we can for 2024 without with jeopardizing 25 as much as possible. So that's everything you look into, and whenever that opportunity comes, whichever way, if you can improve your team, you do that. Sometimes it's hard to picture proving your team, though, without them.
The run on receivers getting big money, A.J. Brown, Amon from Detroit. Is that concerning when it comes to bringing in Ayuk, or is that something you just expected from the market?
Yeah, you expected that the market would take a bit of a leap this year. I think it surely has, and I think it tells you it's a premium position in our league right now. The ball's being thrown a lot, and we're asking these players to do a lot. So it's the reality, and you deal with that.
Yeah, so that was John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan last night after making the pick. And if you take them at their word, it feels to me like they're going to get something done with Ayuk. They're going to keep Deebo Samuel, and they're going to incorporate Ricky Pearsall into that group and try to win a Super Bowl this year. And then next year, they'll revisit the money again, and Deebo Samuel's name will come up because he's the guy who ostensibly right now would be the guy they're most likely to move off of, either now or a year from now. And the one thing that I don't think happens is that they move Deebo Samuel today. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm taking that one last phrase by Kyle Shanahan to heart when he says sometimes you just look at how can we get better if we don't have Brandon on the team. I feel like they're kind of telling you at least what they're thinking. Do you believe them? 888-957-9570.
Yeah, Steiny, and that's what I came in and told you and Evan. The part about John Lynch saying, I'll never close the book on a trade, I'm with you. I think they have to choose, and I think they've decided, and I know we got Jennifer Lee Chan coming up here at 12, Steiny, but I just feel like they're going to choose Brandon Ayuk. And, again, I know it's full transparency, but to hear a GM say we'll never close the book, knowing that Kawakami asked about the smoke that's out there, that's letting you know, Steiny, you can get them on the phone. And if I know we think it's the smart move to kick the can down the road in regard to getting up off possibly one of these receivers next season, if somebody gives them the right asking price, I think Deebo could be had. And Steiny, I think tonight by 8 p.m., I think we'll hear some news that one of these guys has moved, and right now I think it's going to be Deebo.
God, I feel like betting you on that.
You know, it's one of those things that I don't want to win.
Right.
So
I hear you.
I'm just telling you my expectation. And I get what you were saying, but what if you're Deebo or Ayuk and you hear your general manager say, hey, I like our guys, but, and I know it's the business, Steiny, but I like Steiny and Guru, but if the right person calls and gives me the right offer, one of them could be had. Well, like that's how I took that.
The bottom line is when Matt Mayoko started to ask John Lynch the other day if he had given Ayuk's agent permission to look for trades, he cut him off. And he did not say, no, we have not given him permission to ask for a trade. But by not answering that, he clearly,
I remember,
he and Ayuk's agent have been working on stuff. And it sounds to me like the 49ers said, hey, if you think you can work out a trade, go ahead and we'll take a look at it. And if we like it, we'll do it. But clearly, I don't think they've had anything close to what they want. And now they are going to move on. I just don't, I think he was specifically talking about Ayuk, meaning if we don't have Ayuk, how can we be better? But I think he's also probably saying the same thing about Deebo Samuel. Like, we're not just going to lose Deebo Samuel and become a better team. Not right now. Maybe in a year. Maybe in a year it's possible. 888-957-9570. Let's go to 49er David in Concord. Don't forget, Jennifer Lee Chan coming up in 20 minutes. She covers the San Francisco 49ers for NBC Sports Bay Area, and looking forward to getting her insight into this pick. What's up, 49er David?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
All right. Doing well.
Okay, I don't like the pick because you have a lot of other needs in the room besides wide receiver. And I also want to say it doesn't send a good signal to their three, Juwan Jennings. As it stands now, if they keep Deebo and BA, don't like it. And if I'm allowed to make a Warriors comment, I want to do that after, but that's with your permission.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So after the last 39 games of the season, they won 69% of them. And that exactly matches identically to the number 1 and 2 teams in the West. I'm not talking about run it back, but Chris Paul's contract is onerous, so he's probably gone. I'm thinking there's a lot of optimism there. Okay, go.
Thank you. Yeah. Optimism is where you find it. I would never take anybody's opportunity to seek optimism and crush it, contrary to sometimes what you think. I like to do. That's funny. If you want to be optimistic about the Warriors, there's stuff to be optimistic about. We're talking to San Francisco 49ers, though, right now. Hey, here's the other thing. What if, and isn't this the way we always talk about a draft? So the 49ers just drafted a wide receiver, and they have 2 really good ones right now. But aren't you supposed to take who you think is the best player available, not necessarily drafting for a position of need?
Well, there you go.
So if
but the fans have their own view of the team, and they put themselves in Kyle and John Lynch's shoes. And again, Steiny, I don't know a walking soul, especially here, unless I didn't talk to the right people. I just don't feel like anybody looking at the Niners draft and needs thought a receiver was going to be taken in the first round.
Well, my question would be, if they do their draft board positionless and they just rank the players in terms of
best available,
just if the best player happens to be a defensive tackle, then it's a defensive tackle. And whoever was on that board, whoever was remaining on that board might have been somebody, there might have been, he may have been the highest guy left on the board. He just happened to be a wide receiver. And they said, you know what? We think he's the best player left in this round. And yeah, he happens to be a receiver, but we think he's the best football player.
And
better than any of the quarterbacks that are left, better than any of the linemen that are left.
You could be correct.
So
you told me yesterday, you shared with us, and the more I thought about it, I said, Steiny might be onto something, but you said, hey, if they decided to do a trade and part ways with one of the wide receivers and got enhancements on the O-line, they would be greater because the O-line would obviously give Brock more time to survey the field, and they could do that without Ayuk or Deebo. But damn, Steiny, I am not mad at the pick if they keep all 3, because you feel like, you bolstered that position. But and I know the draft is 4.5 hours away, somewhere around there, but if you get rid of one of the 2 and your first crack at adding to your team was the wide receiver position, I just feel like that's a step back. You didn't enhance or fertilize offensive line. Now you're going to, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And that's why you feel like nobody's getting traded.
That's why I feel like nobody's getting traded. I think this buys them that year. I think it buys them that year they wanted, because they didn't want to split these guys up right now.
Yeah.
David's in San Jose. Hey, David, how you doing, man?
Oh, Steiny Guru, you told me to call back, and here I am.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
First off, I made the statement Ayuk was getting traded yesterday. That didn't happen. That's good, but it ain't over. And so, Steiny, I'm a little disappointed, man. You didn't look at the body language last night of that press conference. That was the most depressing press conference I've ever seen after a draft.
Really?
Usually it's, yes, we got our guy. We're ready to go. We're so excited. They weren't excited when they showed him taking the pick. They weren't excited at their press conference, and it's because they know what's coming, right?
What's coming?
They know they have to trade. They have to trade him. Unfortunately, they don't want to. And you know who is going?
Ayuk or Deebo?
Guess who?
Who?
Oh, it's not Deebo, because listen to the statement they made at the press conference. Ayuk, we want him bad. Deebo is already on our team, a big part of the team.
Right.
So take that into account in that they're almost saying, Ayuk, they want him here. You know they love him, but he's not going to be here. So let me ask you this. Who was the one team that needed a wide receiver very badly yesterday and kept trading out of those spots and had wide receivers drafted?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Buffalo. Who picks number 33 overall today and needs a stud proven wide receiver?
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo.
Oh,
I think that's where it's going, guys, unfortunately.
Wow.
About our pick,
yep.
I think he's a good pick, man. I think he's a good pick. I think he fits our offense well. But, you know, at the end of the day, we don't run any 4 wide receiver sets, man.
Well, the one...
So if he's correct, Steiny, it'll jump off right when the second round starts with Buffalo having the first pick.
Well, I'll just go to our resident draft expert, one of the best in the business.
Did a great job yesterday.
Dan Dibley.
Oh, I was Evan Giddy.
And, everybody was under the assumption that if Ayuk was going to get traded, it would come on day one because they were not taking less than a first-round pick.
Gotcha.
So if they trade Ayuk today for a second-round pick, I mean, they're not going to do that.
Steiny,
how about that?
It's on the board, and
they're not going to do that.
That press conference, they were running. Steiny, the word I texted boss, it was weird. It was just they were running material, and there was a lot of not double talk. And I know you say it's lion season, goo, but like the caller said,
I don't know what
Ayuk support.
What I don't understand what John Lynch said that.
He didn't solidify the fact that Brandon's future is going to be with the 49ers. He said it, but then also followed up with anything's possible. My phone's always on.
It's called keeping your options open.
All right.
He said we're having positive talks with Brandon. The goal is to get him to be here.
Buffalo does need a playmaker, Steiny, and I mean that would be fireworks right off the crack of the second round.
As far as I'm concerned, like if you wanted to rip the 49ers, if they trade Ayuk today, then you could rip them because
what about Deebo? Same thing.
What do you mean?
Because they could trade Deebo today.
They could. But what I'm saying is if they were holding out for a 1 for Ayuk and now they trade him for a 2, I mean, then you could say what changed. Mr. D is in San Francisco. Hey, Mr. D, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How y'all doing, guys?
Payday, baby.
Who you stressing?
It's payday.
Who you stressing, man?
Yes, he is.
We can get linemen in the second and third round. But I do agree with you. We got to get some offensive linemen because I don't care how many receivers we got. If we don't have nobody that can protect Brock Purdy, he's not going to have time to hit nobody.
Wow.
If he got 10 receivers.
And that's what happened in the Super Bowl.
And that's what happened in the Super Bowl. Guys was getting home. So if we can keep guys from getting home, we're golden. We can get some linemen in the second and third round. That's not a problem.
Well, all right.
There you go.
I expect, as Jennifer's coming up shortly, Steiny, I expect that to be the next position they address with the 63rd pick.
Yeah, rounds 2 and 3 tonight. Obviously, round 1 was yesterday. And they take a wide receiver. Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. Here's more John Lynch. I want to play this again just to dissect.
All day.
Why is always us? But I don't know. I know that we're continuing to have positive talks with BA, and we are really efforting to get something done with him, and we're excited about continuing down that path. And Brandon being a part of this team, Deebo is a part of this team and a big part of this team. So, like I said, we feel great about that group, and we feel like we just made it better with another really good addition to it who complements the group real well.
Now that backs up your nothing's going to happen
I didn't hear
here.
any depression.
Well, no, it wasn't depression, Stein. It was just the word the adjective. It was weird, man.
So Brandon Ayuk, they're negotiating a contract extension.
And he sent it. I got to say this. He sent a text message in that same press conference yesterday. Brandon did, fire emoji. And I just got to ask you, I took that as, and I know Brandon knows Ricky Pearsall, but I just took that as like that wasn't a good thing.
What do you mean?
That he wasn't super duper excited that they addressed that position with this friend and former teammate.
So he sent him a fire emoji.
Yeah.
So now you're questioning whether Brandon Ayuk actually thinks
I
the
would have
pick is
sent the
fire.
money emoji about all I'm worried about is me.
Like, with
I'm
all
worried
due
about my
respect-
chicken. I ain't worried about no new draft pick, especially one that could be all love to him, but especially one that could be my replacement. It was just odd that came up because they told the people what was going on the text thread.
Man,
but
you're cynical. Everybody says I'm cynical.
I got some of that in me.
I heard John Lynch say they're trying to get Brandon in here under contract.
And they're always open for trade.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
I feel like you're reading way too much into that, but maybe you're not the only one. But
we'll find out here
it's
today.
not a secret that they're dealing with Brandon Ayuk right now. Like I mean,
and they could give him a new contract and he's good,
right?
And it may cost him Deebo,
right? Yeah,
so
it probably will.
Yeah, got you.
I still think that's number one on the board. That at some point this summer, Ayuk's extended, and they go into the season with these two guys.
Yeah.
That's how I'm reading into what happened last night. 888-957-9570. How do you read into what happened last night with the 49ers selecting a wide receiver?
I was listening to the guys this morning. Bonte made the point that if they keep them together, which he would like, Pearsall would be able to learn and get the tutelage from not just Deebo, but also Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, that's like, it sounds great. I mean, in theory, it sounds doable to me. Again, my question to 49er fans, and like when I saw them pick this wide receiver, my first thought was, well, they're not trading either of these two guys. Because to me, conventional wisdom would be, do you have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl with a rookie wide receiver as opposed to those two guys? And I think it's obvious that it's not with the rookie.
But what if they feel different than you? And they obviously would, right? If they pull this off.
Yes. Then like,
because I agree with you.
Everything right. But if they move off Deebo today, then they believe that this guy's maybe better than maybe not right away, but will be better than Deebo Samuel, or that the hit they take at that number 2 wide receiver position isn't going to be significant enough to make them worse because they're going to upgrade in other
no doubt. And that's why they went and said to hell with what everybody else is thinking in these mock drafts. Well, and they went and identified this kid and drafted him.
I mean, I don't.
So they're already just like they're beating to their own drum. They ain't worried about what we think.
Like, who their draft board's the only one that matters. I mean, who cares if Mel Kiper didn't have a guy in the first round or had him going early in the second?
I'm telling
the 49, like that. Like there's literally millions of mock drafts out there. The only ones that matter are the ones that the 49ers had and where this guy was on it.
And Steiny, we can add this to what you just said. We may think they're taking a step back if they were to move Deebo and what the offense would be in the immediate, but they must feel like if they did that, they still got action.
Yeah. That's the way that's what I would read into it. I would read into it that like if they trade Deebo Samuel, they're not saying, well, we're giving up on winning the Super Bowl this year. At all. Connor's in San Leandro. Hey, Connor, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm on my day off. I'm having a great day. I mean, obviously last night was kind of tough.
How come?
I'm not going to lie. I feel like I love Kyle Shanahan. I love John Lynch. I love this team. But if there's one thing that we keep doing, we keep ignoring. Like, I think what we need is a common sense rule for the first round draft. If Kyle is doing something contrarian for the first round of the draft, we got to stop acting like he's playing 5D chess. And we got to go back and say, well, he moved up, took 3 first-round picks to decide whether he wanted Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance, and they all busted. He took a kicker also in the 3rd round, and that's not about the first round, but everyone said the same thing last year. We don't know. We're not on his board. Da-da-da-da-da. Turned out in the Super Bowl, that was the wrong move. And this violates common sense. We just got to say, hey, this probably was a muff. This is probably a dumb move by him. And I think that's not making its way into the picture of the conversation, because we really love Kyle. But I think at the end of the day, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a missed first round pick.
All right,
but I feel that, but you
Appreciate
can't
it, Connor.
Put your stamp on that until we see it play out.
No, it's gutsy to put your stamp on it now.
What? No, he's putting a stamp. But
what if the caller has seen this guy play in college and is like, yeah, he's not very good?
But Steiny, it translates. He's a 49er. It's about what he does in the red and gold. And we don't know if that's going to be with Deebo and Ayuk or with one of them.
Yeah, but you're absolutely allowed to say, I hate this pick.
Oh, no, but the proof is going to be in the pudding, which is the 2024 season.
Right, and what the caller's saying is,